Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Reese's Random Reviews. I'm Reese, I'm about to give you a random review, and welcome to another episode of Which One is Better? So if you've been watching my random review since the very beginning, you'll notice that since last year I do this little thing called Which One is Better, where I talk about two films that are so similar and basically say which one is better in my opinion. So if you've been watching my random review so far, I've done Turner and Hooch versus Canine. The second one was Planes, Trains and Automobiles versus Due Date. The third one was Hitchcock versus Saving Mr. Banks. And the fourth one was Shrek versus Ice Age, which was my most recent one that I did. So today in this episode of Which One is Better, I'm going to go for two other films that are very similar, and I'm going to be talking about the story, the characters, and which one I think is the best film. And this, of course, is going to be a very interesting one. This is actually going to be one of my favourites. This is Zootopia versus Sing. Now, since Sing had been released, or its trailer had been released, people immediately accused Sing of being a rip-off from Zootopia. And I can kind of understand why. Both films are about animals, that's obviously the first thing. Both films have really strong messages, really strong heart, emotion, likeable characters, really funny jokes. You know, I can completely understand why people would say that Sing is a rip-off from Zootopia. But to be honest, I don't really see Sing as a rip-off at all. I mean, obviously, you know, it's both set in animal worlds, but it doesn't actually mean both films are a complete rip-off. There's tons of animated films out there that are about animals. But anyway, basically, I'm going to be talking about these two films and saying which one is better in my opinion. Now, just to let you know that I do love both these films. I love Zootopia and I love Sing. Zootopia is actually one of my favourite animated films of all time. It was also my favourite film of 2016. I remember seeing this on my birthday. My girlfriend took me and we both had a great time. We loved this movie. But now it's time to talk about which one is better. So there's Sing versus Zootopia. So let's get down to the story. Okay, so first I want to start off with Zootopia because I've seen Zootopia first, so I'm going to talk about it. Zootopia tells a story about a rabbit called Judy Hopps, and she wants to become the first bunny cop, but unfortunately no one really believes in her. But then when she does get the job and goes to Zootopia, she meets a fox called Nick Wilde, who's marvellously voiced by Jason Bateman, and they have to team up to help find the missing predators that have been taken. So what happens is, they form like a buddy cop type of genre. And what I love about this film as well is that, you know, this film reminds me so much of the movie 48 Hours, but it's like a kid version of that movie. You know, there's no swearing, there's no, you know, horrible jokes or anything like that, like rude, offensive jokes or anything. It's just literally about a fox and a rabbit who have to team up, and they have this wonderful chemistry, and they've got to go off and find these predators. And that's what makes the story, is that, you know, these two characters, Judy and Nick, they have this wonderful chemistry, and that's what makes the movie. The story as well is so good because, you know, Zootopia or Zootopia, whatever you want to call it, you know, basically it really has a strong message about prejudice and racism and the fact that you shouldn't judge other people, or in this case other animals. And it just also shows that your friends may be the people that you don't think you'd ever get on with. I mean, a fox and a rabbit, you never think that them two would ever get on, but they do, and that's what's really incredible. And also what I love as well is that it's not a typical Disney love story. These two characters, they just really bond. They just become really good friends. I like that. I know loads of people were campaigning for Judy and Nick to get together, but to me, I'm just really glad that they've got really good chemistry friends. The story in Zootopia is brilliant. I love it. It's got a great cop genre type feel to it, obviously. It's wonderful how they match the whole crime, cop, buddy cop, comedy, but animation with animals thrown into it. It really matched the story very well. And also, it was just a beautifully, beautifully told film. Now I'm going to get on to Sing. Sing is, again, like with Zootopia, a beautifully told film. The story is about a koala bear who runs a theatre, but unfortunately he hasn't got much money, so he decides to do a singing competition to save his theatre. And this film was just brilliant because the animals in this film is also what made the story. Chemistry between the characters. I wouldn't say this story is definitely as good as Zootopia, even though it has a meaning of, you know, you have to face your fears if you're scared of singing, or basically if you have an ego, it doesn't mean you're going to be popular. Also, fighting for what you believe in is the story for that. But I just think in terms of story, Zootopia definitely gets the mark. So Zootopia gets the best first point for story. And now we're going to move on to the characters. We have Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde, the two main characters. I love Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde. These two are just literally beautifully wonderful characters that the chemistry between these two is brilliant. They hate each other, then they love each other, then they have to get on, then they don't get on. It's just brilliant. But they work so well together, despite the opposites. They work so well together, and they're just so beautifully made. As I said before, Jason Bateman plays Nick Wilde marvelously. He was perfect for that role. Disney literally picked a great character to, great actor, to play that great character. Jennifer Goodwin as well voices Judy Hopps, and she does an amazing job. And do you know what I love about Judy Hopps as well is that she's not, she's not a typical cliche sort of female character that's like, oh, I can't do this, I can't, she's a tough, strong character, and that's good for, for the feminism side, is that she's a strong-minded, mature character, and that's what I love about her. She is just incredible. There are also some wonderful other great characters in this movie. There's Maya Lionheart, Idris Elba voices Chief Bogo, I think his name is. Oh, I think he's fantastic. There's an obese cheetah in the film, which I think is brilliant. He's a wonderful character. So there are wonderful characters in this film, and it really makes the story go, and the chemistry, as I said, between the two lead characters are great. With Sing, there is an incredible lot of characters I do love, so it is really hard in a way, but we have Buster Moon, who I think is, well, even though I think he's a good character, there are times where he can be quite annoying, which is kind of bad, because even though he's a good protagonist, there are times where one minute he's like, oh, he's good, and the next minute he's like, oh, he's kind of bad. Like, it's like he doesn't really know what he wants, in general, even though he's not very good at explaining it correctly. We have the lizard who works with him. I can't really remember her name. There's the lizard who's like 200 years old with the glass eye. For some reason, I can't remember her name. But she's a great character. She's really funny, really comical, and I think she's brilliant. Then, of course, we have the main side characters. We've got Mina, the elephant, voiced by Tori Kelly, who I thought was absolutely wonderful. But one of the characters I do remember most of all, though, is Mike the Mouse, voiced by Seth MacFarlane. He was a dick in this movie, but he was so likeable. He was a dick, but he's likeable. Every character in this film is pretty good. Most of the side main characters. We also got Johnny the Gorilla, who I definitely remember as well. Johnny the Gorilla is a wonderful character, great singer. And also, he has the horrible relationship with his dad, who's a criminal. And I really fell for him as well. Like, it was just so sad to see him and his relationship with his dad fall apart. I mean, there's so many wonderful, great characters in Sing as well. And it's really hard to choose. But if I had to pick between Zootopia and Sing, I'm afraid that Zootopia definitely has the much more developed characters in this movie. So Zootopia again gets another point. And now we're going to get into the final thing, what I think about these films. With Zootopia, basically, as I said, it was my favourite film of 2016. I loved this movie so much because it was just beautifully animated, beautifully done. Story was cleverly structured, characters well developed. There was strong chemistry between the main characters, the great side characters, funny jokes, touching as well. This movie was fantastic. As for Sing, as much as I love Sing, it definitely doesn't hold up story arc for, you know, against Zootopia, due to the fact that obviously, you know, the story is a bit more cliched than Zootopia. Although what I loved about Sing was its soundtrack. It definitely had a better soundtrack than Zootopia. As much as I love Shakira's Try Everything, Sing just had like the best songs thrown into it, like the old classic songs and mixing it all. I mean, Sing definitely has a better soundtrack, that's the thing. Sing has a better soundtrack, Zootopia has better characters and story. If I had to pick between Zootopia and Sing, then unfortunately for Sing it loses, because this movie beats it 100%. But now I want to hear from you guys. What did you guys think of Zootopia and Sing? Have you seen them both? Which ones did you think was better? Was Sing better? Was Zootopia better? What's your favourite characters in these films? Or don't you like any of them? Which will be a bit weird if you're watching this video of films that you don't like and me talking about them, but still. Anyway guys, comment below and tell me. I want to hear what you guys think, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and don't forget as well that more videos are coming on the way, guys, so please subscribe because more videos are on their way. And I am Reese. I have just given you another random review and another which one is better.